everybody. It's Tim Newman from sportmanagementeducator.com. I'm here in Kuala Lumpur with Dr. Ramlan, the Director General of the National Institute of Sport for Malaysia. Dr. Ramlan, thanks for spending some time with us.
It's a pleasure to talk to you, Tim.
Thank you very much. This is a great facility. I mean, I've been here for a week and a half now. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the National Institute and what its purposes are and what your goals for it are?
Okay, thanks very much for your kind words. We have taken quite a long time to build this up. The institute was conceptualized all the way back in 1978 actually. However, it never got off the ground, but it was developed slowly as a division of the National Sports Council until 2007, when the minister at the time, the Youth and Sports Minister at the time, decided that for sports medicine, sports science and sports technology to flourish and be able to play its proper role in the service, research and education sectors for the elite high performance athletes of Malaysia, we should be on our own and develop along the lines that will get us to be able to be empowered to do our jobs properly. So what we do initially, we were just concentrating on the service side. That means giving clinical sports medicine, all the various disciplines of sports science, which are physiology, biomechanics, nutrition, psychology, game analysis, so on and so forth. And we've added other bits and pieces. We've added a talent identification division and also an education division recently. And we also have a sports technology division as well, which more or less makes it lends itself to a very holistic approach in terms of delivering the service. But other areas where we have to further ourselves in the research and education sector. In research, we have been doing a modicum of research in helping coaches perhaps get to grips with the applications of sports science within their practice as coaches. And with education, we found that in our practitioners' role as valuable partners to coaches in developing training programs and implementing them on the ground for Malaysia's elite high performance athletes, going all the way from regional games like the Southeast Asian Games to the Asian Games and the Commonwealth Games and finally to the Olympics. We find that we have a proper handle on what goes into enhancing a coach's professional development and enhancing his practice, because it's not about how knowledgeable you are, right. It's about how well you
communicate it.
Exactly, right. Exactly. So that's how we found ourselves playing a useful role in education, either within by informal education to athletes directly, through our sports science service, or by collaborating with local universities or collaborating with international organizations such as yourselves, with United Sports Academy and all its partners. So through the years, we found that we hold fast by the principle that we want our athletes to be world class. That means they have to be competitive on the world stage. That means we ourselves have to be similarly desirous of a higher level, being on a higher plane. So I think that at this point, 31 years down the line, after the initial conceptualization of the institute, I think we've come to a point since the year 2000, we've become operationally well sorted out. It's just that we have to be continually on this upward gradient of continuous improvement. And we feel that with the presence of some of our expat staff, from all over the world, we've got quite an international bunch here, and with the assistance of our newfound colleagues from the US Sports Academy, certainly it will stand us in good stead for the future in terms of expanding not only our traditional roles, but also our newfound roles in terms of educating the sports industry in this. So in a nutshell.
Well, In my short time here, I can tell there's a lot of good things going on. From the coaches that I'm working with, the staff that you've built in this facility. There's a lot of good things, and I do attribute that to your leadership and your staff. What is it that you look for in building your staff?
There was a time when we felt that perhaps we focused too much on academic excellence alone. However, in due course, we felt that academic excellence may actually insufficient. We really have to look at the person. So therefore, if between two candidates, but if one candidate with a slightly lower academic performance, but is able to relate to people, communicate well, and show leadership qualities, that would be the candidate that we would plan for. Sometimes that candidate might not fit exactly, just be easy to pigeonhole that person, Whether this person is a physical conditioning person or a physiology person, or is this person a psychology person, or a sociology person. Well, whatever it is, we would like to, we just take the person as a capable person who has leadership attributes. Then we find that once we have the right person, then that person can find a niche for himself or herself, and work it out. And since this is a multidisciplinary institution as well, we allow overlaps between disciplines, so we're not too bothered about people working in silos. And since we work along the principles of integrated multidisciplinary lines anyway, so the lines are blurred actually. So when we configure people from different disciplines to serve specific sports, for example in badminton, where we have a very high international stature, we have physiologists, biomechanics, physical conditioning experts, medical doctors working together. Then it doesn't really matter, because they will just concentrate on working together to get the optimum performance from the athletes. So, all in all, if you get a great person, you will get a great scientist.
And see, those are principles that go all across the world. There's the same types of things that in the United States that we look for. It's not necessarily the education, but is that person a leader? Can they relate to people? And are they a good fit?
Mind you, there have been instances in the past where we found really good candidates who've got really good scores, when they graduate. But we found certain roles for them. For example, they might be more suited to research rather than giving service, or they might be more suited to education rather than giving service. So horses for horses. But we do have to find the right place for the right person.
Right place for the right person. Right. And sometimes we have people that we don't let deal with other people too.
So if you don't fit, you become somebody like me.
No.
Who basically has to do.
No, you've been a great ambassador of support for sport for Malaysia. That's for sure. Now, what advice would you give to the young person who wants to break into the sport industry here in Malaysia?
I think there's still very much a pioneering feel to this business, and one must be prepared to accept certain limitations and constraints, and be prepared to sacrifice. Because the overriding feeling is that you have to love this thing. Okay, you have to love this thing and be able to accept all the challenges, ride over them, and surmount all the problems and the constraints and limitations, because it's new. And every person who's here, even though they're young, every person is playing a certain form of leadership role, in order to forge new horizons for Malaysian sports medicine and sports science. So if they're able to play that role, they will find that this is the whole experience will be rewarding far beyond whatever that they're getting in terms of financial compensation.
Absolutely.
So the job and its achievements really enriches you and really gives you a real sense of great satisfaction.
Dr. Ramlan, as I practice my Malay, terima kasih.
Terima kasih, sama-sama. Okay, well.
This is Tim Newman from the Sport Management Educator. You all take care, and I'll see you when I get back.